Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to the most magical podcast in the Midwest, the Magic in the Midwest podcast starring J.B. Michaels and Ashley Michaels. And now, your hosts. Hey, thank you, everybody. Thank you, announcer, for the great announcement of the hosts. I am J.B. Michaels, USA Today best-selling author of many books, and geared up to get started on book 15, which I'm very excited about, but it's also very intimidating because it's sort of like a finale book, and I really feel like I have to bring it, and I'm a little intimidated by that.
Yeah, I get it.
You know, because I want to make it sure it's awesome. Mm-hmm. So that's going to start soon.
Pressure's on.
Pressure's on to make it great and make people feel good about the ending. So that's happening. This is our 39th podcast.
Wow.
Podcast number 39.
Do we know anyone else that's 39?
Yes. Yours truly is 39. That's right. I feel 19, but...
Really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. When you were 19, did you drink coffee? Like
No.
a crazy person?
No. So that's how I feel like I'm still 19. Because
Just
of coffee.
you drink a pot of coffee every day.
That's right. No, I don't. I mean, I feel good. I feel
That's good. That's
knock
good.
on wood, you know?
You should.
Knock on wood. If you feel good.
You should.
Okay, so that was terrible. I apologize, listeners. I am here with my more successful wife, Ashley Michaels. Hello, Ash.
Hello, everyone. Taking a big swig of Coca-Cola.
Yes, to deal with the headaches.
Yes.
Right? The headaches. Ash swears up and down, as do many other people, that a Coca-Cola Classic, specifically from a McDonald's.
Yeah, fountain Coke from McDonald's is usually the top tier.
It's because of the way that they
Probably
pressurize
the extra
water?
Sugar, extra. I think it's just
No,
like
I think it's
bit,
the way it's in that machine,
something
right?
bothering me.
Didn't you say that?
I don't remember.
I thought you said it's like the bubble, like the actual machine that it comes out of. The fountain machine is better. Like it does something with the, I don't know, like osmosis of the water or something. Didn't you say that to me once? Maybe. Anyway, I don't know. She probably was on a lot of drugs when she told me. Trying to battle the headaches. Okay, so someone is a little OCD over here.
No, you put a
fix
bunch of stuff in the hamper, and now it's overflowing and about to break. So a normal person wouldn't put them in there and just put them in the wash machine.
Okay.
Or on top.
Right.
But I have to go around fixing everything.
I know, I got to do some of that today while I'm watching the Bears.
Hop to it.
I will. All right, so basically, there's something about the bubbles in the McDonald's Cokes.
No, I don't think that's
I know you said it's something about the way that they process the Coke through their machines, right? Or is it a formula?
Why are we still talking about this? It's a different formula, I feel like. They can control it because it's in their restaurant, so it's not the same formula as like the Coke in the can. It's not necessarily that it's the bubbles.
It does taste a little different.
Yeah, it does.
Well, it might be the bubbles. Pretty bubbles.
Everyone has tuned out. Can we?
Pretty bubbles. Okay.
Oh, we should talk about what we watched last night.
We watched It's a Wonderful Life last night.
But in color.
I like the black and white version better.
I don't.
To me, I think it was filmed in black and white and was shown in black and white, and it should be in black and white. You could tell it's colorized. The colorized isn't bad. I mean, I noticed a lot more detail with stuff.
So you'd rather watch it in black and white when there's less to see?
No, you still see everything. It's still high definition, Blu-ray transfer.
Well, you just said you saw a lot more things. So
I think because I noticed a lot more things because of the colors.
I just think people are in color, so you're meant to see things in color. That's what I think. I think we were seeing more of what they saw on set.
When I was a child, I thought that the 40s were all in black and white. Like, I asked my grandmother, when did color happen? She was like, what do you mean? I was like, well, all the old movies we watch from back in the day are all in black and white. I thought the world was black and white, and that color came to the world.
Kid stuff.
When I was a little kid, I remember playing catch with her. We were playing catch outside of 82nd and Fairfield. And I said, Grandma, which is very rare that me and Grandma were playing catch. Grandpa must not have been there. And we were playing, and I was like, when did color happen? And she's like, what are you talking about? She's like, color's always been around.
Like in the movie Pleasantville.
So, I mean, really, yeah. So I didn't know. But no, I prefer the
I think
traditional...
we're going to have to switch off ears then, because I like the color one.
Yeah, the traditional black and white. But we watched it last night. We haven't watched it in a very long time for emotional reasons, because it was my mother's favorite movie. She passed away, and she was very similar to... Like, she lived like George, basically. Like, was always selfless and, you know, making sure other people were taken care of.
Yes.
So it was, you know... Whew. I mean, at the end, I just was sobbing. Like, tears were caking, like, literally made my beard wet.
But we were also laughing.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
You know,
there's a lot of funny parts in the movie.
There's a lot happening.
Yeah, it's a good movie. Obviously, it's a classic. It's my all-time favorite movie.
So, you know what I think it is? I think I like the color because White Christmas is also colored like that.
So it feels like...
it feels like White Christmas. Mm-hmm. To me.
Well, that makes sense. That makes sense. That's your fave.
I mean, I appreciate black and white movies. I really do. I just think that when you can see color, it's... I don't know.
Well, what's amazing to me is that there's a cool story behind It's a Wonderful Life. I don't know if we've ever talked about it. We'll talk about it before we get into back to the animal kingdom today. That's why you're here. It's Magic in the Midwest podcast. But Jimmy Stewart, this was made post-World War II. Mm-hmm. Jimmy Stewart was suffering from post-traumatic stress, and he was depressed. And, you know, he had fought as a pilot. I think a bomber pilot. I'm not sure. Bomber or fighter pilot? I think bomber. And flew a lot of missions and, you know, probably, you know, created a lot of devastation, right? But I think he was not feeling well, and his friend, director Frank Capra, said, hey, you know, Jimmy, I've got a great, you know, idea for a movie. I got a great script. You know, I really want you to do it. I feel like you would be the perfect person to do this. And he agreed to it. And you could tell, like, knowing the backstory now of like how he was struggling himself, and then looking at his performance in the movie. Yeah. Like, you can really see it. Like, James Stewart's performance in that film is amazing.
Yeah.
Like, he is so good in that movie. I mean, there are actually, everybody does a great job in the movie. But he is just like, you know, I mean, he didn't win. That movie actually wasn't really a big box office smash. It just sort of came out and that was it. It was only later that it became more popular in pop culture, you know, on television. But Jimmy didn't win any awards or anything for that, but my gosh, it's one heck of a performance by one heck of an actor, you know, and just a class act himself. Him and Lucille Ball lived next to each other.
Oh, really?
And Lucy, after he passed, said Jimmy was just the best guy, the sweetest man. He basically is the guy that you see in It's a Wonderful Life. He's basically George, you know, and just a good guy. So enough on It's a Wonderful Life, I suppose. But anyway, so he agreed to do the movie and did it, and obviously did an awesome job. The rest is history. And Ash and I are we still have the bug. By the way, if you're DVC members, starting January 4th, right, or something like that, there's this special DVC only ticket special, which they rarely do for DVC people.
Yeah, totally.
You get 2 days free. So, you know, you buy your theme park tickets and you get 2 more days. You know, I think maybe it's buy 3 or something, get 2 more. I don't know. I
didn't really read the deals, but I saw that there was like an actual deal for DVC, and I was like, wait, what?
I know. I was like, wow, that's pretty awesome. So
check it out.
Check it out for sure if you're DVC family members. All right, so we're going to head right back into Disney's Animal Kingdom Park. We did do a overview, overview of the park, a couple podcasts ago, and now we're going to head back more, in detail. So we'll talk about Discovery Island today, and then, of course, Dino Land USA. Okay, so Discovery Island is basically like the main area after you get through the Oasis. Mm-hmm. It's the main area in front of the tree.
Okay.
And like a little bit of an offshoot to the left and an offshoot to the right is considered Discovery Island.
I need to look it up so I can.
It's a weird. I mean, it's a section of the park that it's where it's tough to be a bug is. It's which
is that the only attraction?
The only major attraction in Discovery Island is tough to be a bug. Yes. Besides then, the Hakuna Matata time dance party. But it's weird about this section of the park. Like there's all those signs. It's very colorful. It's very pretty. It's got all the different very pastels and bright colors on the buildings. And of course you have the big Tree of Life in the background. You can often see Kevin. You gotta see Kevin walking around in this particular area. So there are, there's the Starbucks in this area. So, I mean, this is basically like Animal Kingdom's version of Main Street or, Hollywood Boulevard, and of course the area around Spaceship Earth. So, yeah.
So there's like Tiffin's is in there, right? According to the list I'm looking at, it is.
Yes. You're looking on the map, the park map? Yeah.
Yeah.
Technically, Tiffin's is, so Tiffin's is actually on the left branch of it. So it's weird. It's like it's like an area that looks like a Y, I guess.
Right. Yeah.
Because it stretches from, the area where you walk right in and you see the Tree of Life, and you could go left or you could go right. So Tiffin's, of course, is the major restaurant, sit-down restaurant. It's a very nice. People seem to when it came out a few years ago. I think it was like 2016 or something. People like it. It's supposed to be really good, but we'll get into that momentarily. Okay, so now here we go. So let's go into Discovery Island. Which is just really, it's very strange, like the way it is. I mean, technically the Oasis is another part of the park where you could see a Babirusa, Spoonbill, and an anteater.
It's funny. I kind of feel like it's.
But it's not really.
I kind of think of the Oasis and Discovery Island as like all one part.
Yeah, technically,
it's not. I know, but
right. Yeah, so basically here at Discovery Island, you could pick up your Wilderness Explorers interactive adventures. So basically you could, earn badges, just like, the World Showcase. You could do the World Showcase adventure thing too. This is similar. You could pick up that. And it's tough to be a bug is over here. And then, of course, Discovery Island Trails, which is cool. Actually, the Discovery Island Trails, I think, is something I've actually never done, which I really should do. I've done it only in the context of waiting in line for It's Tough to Be a Bug.
Okay.
Right? But you can walk around and get closer to the Tree of Life on the Discovery Island Trails. It's just something that people don't do because it's sort of hidden and it's sort of...
So it's something you can just walk around and do. It's not like something that it's not...
Mm-mm.
Okay. So when we were talking, because we kind of talked about
that. We did. We were like, it's got to be a way to get closer.
So there is.
There is a way, but you're going to be walking. Again, here's the thing about Animal Kingdom. Animal Kingdom is huge. If you are able and capable and ready to roll, I mean, you could, to get the most out of the park, you are going to have to walk. Like, far.
Yeah.
Like, there are walk-through attractions all over this park that are unlike any of the other parks, right? I mean, you're walking everywhere in every Disney park, but this particularly particularly, is a park that focuses on those kind of, walk at your own pace type of things.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think next time we'll have to go on the Discovery Island trails. I think we should totally do that.
Yeah.
I think it would be good. It's one of those things where it's in between Pandora and Africa. So you have to kind of like, as soon as you're approaching Africa, right by that bridge, if you look to the right, you'll see Discovery Island trails. But, again. But here's another thing about the Tree of Life and Discovery Island. And I said this, and now I feel sort of bad. It's like you can either go left or right. And that's what everybody does. But really, like, this park is so huge. You can actually walk closer to the Tree of Life and get pictures. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And there's like waterfall right there. There's actually a lot of really great scenic features, in front.
Yes.
When you first see it, and you kind of just skip past it.
Yeah, I feel like you're just sort of walking to an attraction or wherever it is you're planning to go.
Yeah.
Everyone just sort of flies by.
Yeah.
I think we're all guilty of that at some point or another. Whether it's, there's a lot of people I know that go to Disney often and have admitted that they just walk past certain countries and
never
Epcot.
Discover.
You know what I mean? Because they're always like, they go to their favorites, which we all have our favorites, right? And or maybe they're trying to catch Frozen at a certain time or a Fast Pass or something, and they've never stepped foot in a particular pavilion or something, even though they go all the time.
Yeah.
So I think that, you walk into Animal Kingdom and you're like, okay, there's the tree. Okay, so where do we go? And I feel like you also know it's this really expansive, like it's a big park. It's spread out, and so, and I think maybe people were more guilty of this before, when the park was only open during the daytime hours.
Yeah.
Because I think people were trying to make it like a half-day park.
Get
stuff done and let's head out.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. I think that Animal Kingdom is a hybrid theme park, right? It is a preserve. It is a, like it's a legit nature preserve. It is zoological. There are many things that they do from that aspect. So like, it is one of those weird things where when you go to a Disney theme park, especially if you're someone who's been there many times, or even if you're a person who's just expecting, okay, you go to a theme park, there's rides. Like, that's what people think, right? I mean, that's what
a lot of people think.
Yes, that's what a lot of people think. Not everybody, not us, but a lot of people are trained to go, okay, well, what is there to do? What ride is there? Whereas, like, Disney's Animal Kingdom is trying to get you to, discover other things, like to enjoy nature,
and I think on top of that, too, a lot of people's mentality at Disney, and you have to remember, especially
a lot of money.
At Disney World,
right,
is the majority of people there on any given day during normal times is, I think it's like 70 or 80% people that will only be there that one time in their entire life.
Yeah.
So the idea is, let's get it all done.
Yeah.
Let's not miss anything. Let's make the most of our time. And I get it from a money standpoint. But you do miss out on the... I've never been a part of that camp. Even if we only went once, I would definitely say less is more, in a way. You can get a lot done. Don't focus on getting everything done, because you're gonna drive yourself nuts, and you're still not gonna get everything done.
Right. You aren't.
Enjoy yourself, take it easy, take a break, take it in. It's hard to do, and if you have kids of a certain age that are like ready to run around to the next, you know what I mean, like the preteen age,
right.
They're gonna just want to.
They're gonna want to hit up the major things, right? So here's an interesting thing, right? I think that really the most interesting thing about this park is how the intention of the park is to try and diffuse some of that. Like, go, because it's got all these trails, it's got all these animals, it's got all these, things that you could enjoy without needing the thrill or the, it's different. It's supposed to be,
yeah.
So I think
it definitely feels the most different than the other three.
Oh, absolutely, it does. It absolutely does. But I'll be honest, I think having it open at night really ups the game.
Especially with Pandora, yeah.
Yeah, it ups the game with Pandora, but also I think it ups the game everywhere. Mm-hmm. Like even Dinoland USA, which is what we're going to talk about a little bit, looks great at night. Like it's got all those basically Christmas lights, right? These big bulbs, like carnival lights, and old school bulbs everywhere. I think it's I think that's the fact that it's now open later, I think is a big boon for the park. I think it's just a really good thing that they did that. All right, so we did talk a little bit about this last time, so we don't have to talk, or the last time we were in Animal Kingdom, but Ash, what do you think of It's Tough to Be a Bug? How would you rate it? Give me the rating before we...
I don't remember.
Because we didn't rate it last time. We didn't rate it last time, so...
I think it's good. It's not like my favorite show. I also don't feel like it fits super well with being in the Tree of Life. Like
really?
I just
think
sort
it's
of like
perfect. I think it's absolutely perfect.
That's not what you said on the last podcast.
No,
we talked about it.
I didn't say that.
I'm gonna go back and listen
You're
to
a liar.
it and show you.
You're a liar. I think it's absolutely genius. Go ahead, keep going.
Ugh, that's a terrible opinion.
Genius.
No, I just don't think I'm sorry. There's no comparison between Spaceship Earth inside of the Spaceship Earth compared to It's a Bug's Life inside of the Tree of Life. I just don't think you can compare those. Bug's Life does not come to mind when I think of iconic attractions at Disney. It's cute. I think it's fun. I never have to go on it again, ever, and I wouldn't feel deprived. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm just being honest. I don't have to go again, ever. People like my honest opinions. They write in about it all the time. No, and if you love It's Tough to Be a Bug, then that's great. This is just my opinion. I don't love it. I think it's a good show. It's just not, I don't know. It's okay-ish.
Okay. Well, I
it's a good show. It's just not my favorite. And I also think they could have done something a little bit more, I don't know. It's the Tree of Life. Couldn't you have done something a little bit more like, Flick and Hopper? I mean, come on.
Okay, well, okay. So from a idea thematic standpoint, having a bunch of bugs in the roots of a tree,
I think is cool. I think
that's a good. That's what I meant by being. It's Google. I think it's a fitting place to have the attraction.
It's not that it's not fitting, like meaning that the bugs don't thematically that it doesn't suit the bugs being in a tree. I'm just saying when I think of A Bug's Life, and then you're saying like the icon
I'm thinking of it as
Animal Kingdom.
On its own terms. I'm not thinking of it as what it should be. I was just thinking of it as it is. You know what I'm saying? Like you're taking it a lens of what you think should be there.
Okay, but
I'm saying
aside from it being in the Tree of Life,
okay.
I'm just saying the show, I just, there's a lot of other shows that would make my list before that one.
Okay. Although I would encourage you to do it, only because if you don't want to do the Discovery Island trails, you'll get an attraction, plus you'll be able to get close.
The queue itself is cool. If you like to hear kids screaming at the top of their lungs several times during a show, this is the show for you.
Yes, it's got a lot of creepy crawly moments. It even says that on the park map. It says some creepy crawly moments in the dark. That's what it says.
Yeah, and I mean, I like A Bug's Life. It's just, it's when I think of Disney World, aside from where it is, that is not an attraction that pops into my head whatsoever.
Okay.
So that's my
right.
Tiki Room.
So what would you rate it?
Like a 7.
A 7. It's good.
It's good. I'm not saying it's not good.
Okay.
It's just, I don't know. It's not my fave.
Okay. I think I'm going to give it an 8. Only because I think the effects in the show are really great. I think that it really gets quite a reaction from the audience. I think it's effective. You know what I mean? I think
quite the reaction.
Quite the reaction from the audience.
Kids screaming, parents trying to comfort their kids, the kids not listening. because it's scary to them.
Some of us can handle kids. Some of us can't. Can't handle kids screaming. But anyway,
I think most people can handle it. They don't prefer it.
I know. No, I think it's a really fun show. I like it a lot. I think it's unique. I think it was one of those really great, 3D shows, 4D shows with all those effects that came around like in the late 90s when obviously this park opened. I think it's great. I think it's an 8, which means great. You say 7, which is good. I understand. It's funny. It's like if you look back at the history of Pixar films, most people don't really mention Bug's Life.
Well, I just don't feel like it has this timeless factor, and I realize that you can't always have that. And that's not true for every Disney attraction or every icon in every park.
It can't
it's not
be
possible.
Always,
and with certain themes, your selection, especially for Animal Kingdom, is it's limited to what you're going to do. But I wouldn't have done it.
I wonder what they could put in there. I wonder what other thing they could do. You know what I mean? I wonder if there's some other idea.
But yeah, Bug's Life.
That they might use in the future.
Maybe it's just because I wasn't crazy about the movie.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. I think when the movie came out, I was like, it was good, but it was not on the level of how unique and fun Toy Story was, which actually was a Henson idea. Which no one, many people don't know that there was a Jim Henson produced Christmas special that was very similar to Toy Story. There's nobody ever talks about it. It's like, wait a minute.
Well, it's kind of like a known thing.
We've seen this before.
Disney takes things.
They do. All right, so
but no one cares because it's Disney.
Right, I guess
they do it.
It does happen sometimes.
Quite often.
Yeah. So then, some of the dining. Oh, I guess we could do a special dining episode. But we've like we said, Flame Tree Barbecue. Just a list of the dining options. Isle of Java, Tiffin's, of course, is a sit-down, full-service dining restaurant. The Nomad Lounge, which is attached to Tiffin's, place to go grab a nice drink right on the river, which is cool. And then, of course, Creature Comforts, and then the big shopping. The big shopping. Store similar to the Emporium is over here. The Discovery Trading Company is in Discovery Island as well. It's a great, Discovery Island. It's an interesting thing, and it's sort of, it's the hub. It's basically the hub. It's then you kind of split off from there. So now we're gonna head over. So if we were to head to Discovery Island, get to where it splits, we're gonna head right, and we're going to head towards Dinoland USA. So, Ash, why do you think they put Dinoland USA in Animal Kingdom?
I don't know. I know we watched something about this.
I think we watched Imagineering. It was the history of Imagineering.
Because they were going to do that or
the Beastly Kingdom.
The Beastly Kingdom, and then they
chose Dinoland.
Yeah.
I think for cost reasons.
Yeah, maybe it was that.
Yeah.
The Black Sheets attraction. No, I kid. That's not true. I just like saying that because JB always laughs.
It's funny. It's just black sheets. It's just sheets.
And neon dino heads.
Not our dino.
Oh my God. I love it. It's a great example, right, of a ride that a lot of people don't like, that maybe isn't the most, it's not the most amazing.
I love it.
You can't compare it to, Flight of Passage, but here's my point, is that, my opinions are mine. I love Dinosaur, and it doesn't mean that it's an amazing ride. It just means I really like it.
Yeah.
Right. I feel like, I don't know, there's something about the Bug's Life thing where I'm like, I just feel like there's something better that could be there, but, whatever.
Yeah.
I think there could be a better restaurant in the castle, but there isn't. So,
yes,
that's just my opinion. But yeah, I don't know why I'm not really sure. Unless you know more about the Dino Land thing. I think we
watched the Imagineering story, and they tell you that it was a cost thing. If you think about it, Dino Land doesn't look like it costs very much money, right?
No,
right? Which is fine.
It is fine.
I think it's fine. I think it still looks great. But also, let's think about the time period.
Was it a reaction to something?
Well, I want you to think about, it could also be that. I want you to think about 1998. What was a big movie franchise in the 90s?
Well, it was Jurassic Park?
Yes. So
I think a reaction to Universal.
I think it was, we need dinos in our parks because Spielberg is making his Jurassic Park ride at Universal Studios.
Separate podcast about the Velocicoaster.
Then the Velocicoaster is now going to open up as well, and the rumored Jurassic World section of the park in the new Fantastic Worlds theme park, which will be open who knows, 2026 or something. So I think Eisner at the time was like, well, we need dinos. We should put some dinosaurs in here, because they've got Universal's got Jurassic Park. They're going to be opening up Islands of Adventure. They're going to put Jurassic Park in Islands of Adventure. Let's try and get our dino section of a theme park open first.
Yeah. Our dino, not our dino.
Yeah, not our dino.
It's the Time Rover guy.
Alicia Rashad. That's right. She is also she's the head of the Dino Institute. So basically you have Dinoland USA, which, okay, so let's break down the name. Dinoland USA is supposed to be what? What does that remind you of? Have you ever, so in Arkansas, I've driven to Arkansas. On the way down, there's cement dinosaur, statues, sculptures, where you could drive around and take pictures with these really cheesy looking cement dinosaurs or plaster dinosaurs.
Sounds good. Yeah. I want to do that.
So the reason I call it Dinoland USA is sort of like an homage to roadside attractions, kind of like in, Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, or, just different places. Where because when you drive across the U.S., you see a billboard for Dinoland USA. I think that's kind of what they were going for. Americana type of vibe. Here's some attractions that you could go see. And of course, it's really just like a carnival setting. So, and according to the map, it says you can see an American crocodile in this area somewhere.
Where?
It's on display somewhere. You can see a Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Try and find
which is, of course, near the Dino Institute. You can see the bones. Okay, so, it's an interesting area, right? It's got the big, huge dinosaur sculptures similar to those big, huge dinosaur sculptures in those roadside attractions. So
the concrete slash paper mache.
Yes. And they don't list it on here right now, Ash.
What?
Because of COVID. But the Boneyard, we know is there.
Yeah.
But right now it's not actually listed as an attraction.
That makes sense. Definitely if you have kids, check it out, especially young kids. It's just like a giant playground area with slides and things to climb up on and stairs and bridges and it's cool.
Yeah.
And it looks like what does it look like?
It actually looks like a dig site.
Yeah. I couldn't think of the words.
Yeah, like a paleontological dig
but
site.
it's great for the, Harrison, even last year when he was 4, loved running around on that. 'Cause it's something for younger kids to do and, burn off some energy.
Right.
While you sit there.
It is.
I don't know.
And there's cool things. It's really a nice playground area.
It is. And it's big. It's big enough for a lot of kids to be on it. And it's never really that busy because once again, I feel like people are just no, we're going here next. No, we're going here next. They don't stop to be we're not playing at a playground when we're in Animal Kingdom.
Right.
But I think it's worth the detour.
Last time we were there, you and JP went to Expedition Everest first, right?
Well, you guys stayed back, right?
Yeah, me and Harrison.
And Mom.
And Mom stayed back and just let Harrison run around, and we played in the Boneyard, and it was really great.
And then we switched.
Because it's actually not too long of a walk. I mean, it's still decent. Everywhere you go in Animal Kingdom, it's pretty... From land to land, there's usually long walks. But it wasn't that bad of a walk from from Dinoland to Asia because there's a bridge that connects them. But yeah, so Boneyard is great when it's open. Hopefully it'll be open next summer when all of this is behind us. So I mean, great fly. Triceratops Spin is in this area as well, which we went on. And you know what? I like it.
Yeah, I mean, I
like it at night.
You know why especially. I like it? Because it's not getting in the way of a walkway.
Right.
It's in that wide open space.
It's in the Carnival Games area section.
Right.
Yeah. It's just basically it's Dumbo with Triceratops.
Aladdin carpets, you're in the way.
Yeah, Ash hates the placement of that, and I agree. It's not the best place, but you're right. Magic Kingdom's Adventureland gets really throttled, basically.
It does.
By that. Yeah. So Triceratops Spin is pretty awesome. We went on it at night the last time we were there. It's very pleasant at night, and it's pretty. The lights around Dinoland USA are very pretty. I think it's great. And now, because they wanted to get more people into this...
do you think it's great?
I think it's great.
I think it's great.
I think it's great. Oh, man, Hillary, I think it's great, honey.
Stop.
Oh, come here.
Stop! No!
Oh,
Ew,
that's man. Gross. Oh, Hillary. Okay, anyway, so...
Didn't we say this is for kids?
This is for kids.
Ew.
Let's go on that spin. Anyway, President Clinton's here, everyone.
I'm not part of this. I'm not with JB on this one.
Nah, I understand.
Can you hurry up?
You want to do a Triceratops spin? We got one of these in Texas. We do. And now W's with us. Wow, all the former presidents are here. Anyway, sorry. Texas. All right, so basically the main attraction, which is Ashley's absolute favorite ride in all of Animal Kingdom, Dinosaur, okay? Maybe. Which, according to the reference here, is take off on a rip-roaring prehistoric tour with dark sheets in the dark.
It's in the bio of the ride, guys.
To save a dinosaur from extinction. Okay, Ash, bring us through Dinosaur.
No, I'm not going to bring you through it. That's your job.
Give us your review of Dinosaur.
I think most people that have heard me talk about it before know that the main reason I like this ride is because of the ride vehicle.
Okay.
Which is the same ride vehicle that they use in the Indiana Jones attraction and Disneyland, right?
Yeah.
But it's a really cool ride vehicle. It's like you're in a Jeep, kind of.
Yeah.
And then the part that you're sitting in, like the top, like where the seats are, could actually like rotate. I don't know how to explain that very well, but it's a really neat
ride vehicle.
Yeah, unique ride vehicle,
system.
And it makes the ride just super fun. But you're basically going, back in time, obviously, to find a particular dinosaur.
Yeah.
And you're not supposed to go, but you're doing it anyways, kind of secretively, and you're flying through, and everything is just dark, and then there's these like neon dinosaur heads coming out at you
with
through
black lights,
the black sheets.
Yeah.
It's just silly.
But it's such a great
fun.
But I mean, it is such a great like sensory experience because the sound really draws you in.
I know there's a whole thread on the Disboards, for those of you that are familiar with the Disboards, many threads where people say that out of all the rides at Disney, this is what scares their children the most.
Yeah.
People are afraid of dinosaur, and I get it. But
because it's big and scary.
What's funny is Harrison liked it, and it's just because the ride vehicle wasn't a roller coaster. That's what scares him the most. He'll go on Test Track and Dinosaur, but not Seven Dwarfs Mine Train.
Yeah.
Someone explain it to me.
Yeah, I know. It's awesome.
But it is I just think it is. It's just fun. I just have fun when I'm on it.
Are you kidding me? Yes, I think it's fantastic.
You just look at everybody's heads in front of you flying.
It's just
around.
Fun. Yeah, I mean, like, I love this attraction more than any relies on story, right? It relies on story because we have to have a reason to get on the Time Rover.
I'm just thinking,
not our dino.
Dad getting off the ride. He gets off and he was like, "Oh my god." I was like, yeah.
Well, the man had just had his hips replaced. His hip replaced.
And was having kidney stone problems.
Yeah, it was jacked around.
You know, and he's dinosaur. Like, well, the kidney stones are loose now. Yeah. You get whipped around, but I don't know how to explain it. It's just, I love that ride. Yeah, I do love it.
I just think it's
really hard for me to say it's my favorite because Flight of Passage is amazing, but you can't compare those two rides. One, you're being flung around with black sheets and it's
from late 90s awesomeness.
Yeah. And then the other one is this like breathtaking, amazing, emotional,
exhilarating emotional experience.
But they're both great.
Yeah. So basically, if you kind of look at Dinosaur, it's weird. Dinosaur is actually in its own little nook. Like, it's kind of hidden. Like, it's Dinoland is there, and you see Dinoland, and you see Triceratops spin, you see Chester and Hester, which is, I think, closed now.
But, I mean, think about it for a second. Take that ride vehicle out of it. It's not a good ride.
You don't think so?
There's no way that that's a good ride. I mean, it's all like the strobes and the dinosaur heads coming out.
Right, if you don't have the ride vehicle.
If you don't have the ride vehicle, if it doesn't have that rotating top part, it's not at all the same. Because
you feel as like if you're going on terrain.
Yes.
Like you're on this wild terrain.
Like if you don't feel like that, I think it takes a lot away from the ride.
That's true.
There's no other vehicle where I feel like they could, and I hate to say it this way, get away with that ride.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the only way it works.
But I mean,
and if it ever goes away, I hope it becomes Indiana Jones.
Right. Well, there's been rumors that they want to make this Indy section of the park.
I would be okay with that. I would really, really miss Dinosaur because I love it.
Right.
But if the ride vehicle stayed, I'd be happy.
Well, here's the thing. Now, to its credit, let's not. It's not completely. There are really good dinosaur animatronics in this ride. There are. Like that one dino.
I don't really notice.
That one dino that's eating the other dino, that's like really cool looking.
I guess. I don't even remember.
And like there are some legitimately good animatronic dinosaurs in this ride. So it's not all cheapy.
I'm kind of making fun of myself because everyone that's like, you like dinosaur, I get made fun of. I think it's amazing. I love it. It's the best.
They're all really good dinos.
I mean, I think it's very well done. Everything that needs to be done for that ride to be great has been done, I think.
Yeah.
And also maybe we spared some money there with the black sheets. I don't know.
Right.
But I mean, you can't, and it's good to have a variety of rides. Not every ride can be Flight of Passage. It just can't be.
Yeah.
But those are, you can't. I think it's one thing for me to say I like Dinosaur, and another thing for me to say, like, that is one of my favorite rides on property. Everyone just looks at you like, what is your problem?
I'm with you. I think it's fantastic.
It's so fun.
So basically, if you look, it's in its own little nook, and then if you're a Jurassic Park fan, you'll notice that the Dino Institute has some structural similarities to the Visitor Center at Jurassic Park, which it absolutely does. And that, it's a very pleasant queue experience. There's lots of cool things you can learn about dinosaurs and, some cool copper fossil, like, statues and like, imprints and things like that you could look at. There's even, in the atrium area of the Dino Institute, while you're waiting, it tells you the story of, the supposed asteroid impact that destroyed, or the comet or whatever that destroyed the dinosaurs. Kind of goes into, that theory and that history of, why the dinosaurs went extinct. So I think it's a cool queue experience. And then I'll be honest, and then you get into that section where Felicia Rashad welcomes you to, Mrs. Cosby welcomes you to the Dino Institute, and then of course it goes off and what do you think? Once
you step into the loading dock area, it's like you can see the strobe light ahead, like the flashing of things, and there's like the
time rover time travel section.
And it's a little bit I was worried that Harrison was going to be like, no, I don't want to get on this ride now because just the atmosphere in there definitely changes. And you can tell there are kids that are being talked into going onto the ride and are like looking around and...
Well, it kind of goes from this like pleasant, like, cool pretty Dinosaur Institute to like this industrial time travel laboratory with strobes and it's cool. Like a factory almost. Mm-hmm. And then you get in there and then you're going through time and the whole time the scientist who the not our dino scientist, he's telling you that he's just going to get us in and get us out. Like we're going to get out before the impact of the the asteroid. Because it was originally this attraction was called Countdown to Extinction, which we've talked about in past podcasts, which actually makes more sense because you're literally trying to get the dinosaur, save it from being extinct from the asteroid impact and bring it back home.
Right.
So they changed it when the movie Dinosaur came out. Disney released Dinosaur, which wasn't a big hit, obviously. I think we would have had many more dinosaur movies and probably attractions, but it didn't happen.
Yeah.
So they changed the name from Countdown to Extinction to Dinosaur. My mom actually has a cool little statue vignette called Countdown to Extinction, which you open it up, and it's Mickey and Goofy and the whole gang in the time rover. Yeah.
It's in the case?
In the cabinet at home. At their house.
I want to go look at that.
I know. And you open it up, and it's them, in the Carnotaurus is behind them.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's awesome. So, but anyway, so, I'm giving it an A because A-, I guess.
I'm going to full
You're going to full A.
And it is totally just not reasonable
So a 10 or a 9. A 9 or a 10.
I mean, I guess. I don't know.
Well, if we were doing the numbers, because we can't we switch.
I'm going to say 10. Okay, because I think 10. The ride vehicle is the only one like that on property.
It is.
And it is a fun ride. It has a theme. And I don't know. I like it. But it's, probably not logical for me to give it a 10, but I'm doing it.
Okay. I'm going to give it a straight up, I'm going to give it a 9 because, I'm not going to give it the 10. I feel like they could probably even boost it even more, give it a little more love. I don't know if they ever will because it's probably pretty cheap to run it and it still attracts people.
I don't think anything needs to change.
It's really great. It's really great. So, all right. So that about wraps up our Dino Land talk. We will talk about dining in a separate episode because there is the Restaurantosaurus, which is one of my favorite restaurants in Animal Kingdom.
Okay.
Which is over here. So we'll talk about that.
We will.
Another time. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen. That about wraps up our Discovery Island Dino Land USA podcast for Disney's Animal Kingdom. Please, again, rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, on Stitcher, on Spotify. Make sure to subscribe to our podcast. You'll get double the episodes. magicinthemidwestpodcast.bandcamp.com. magicinthemidwestpodcast.bandcamp.com.
Wait, I have one more thing. And if you're listening on your phone or something like that and enjoying the podcast, please, take a screenshot, share it on Instagram and, in your stories or something. We always get a lot of love when we ask people to do that.
Please, if you could share the podcast, guys, that is a huge boon to a huge boon to the podcast. It really helps downloads. We would love it.
Well, it helps spread the word.
And spread the word. So we would love it if you could help us out there. Thank you to all those who have rated and reviewed us and listened to us and subscribed to us. For as little as $3 a month, you get subscribe and you get double the episodes. We really appreciate it. So
we do.
All right, guys, from the Midwest. See you later.